Hello, everyone. This is Women Grandmaster Sabina Foisor. Very excited to be back to another class in session podcast, this time with a good friend, international master, Begim Tokhirjonova. Begim has had a very important chess career. She's had a lot of achievements. She has represented the United States and more recently brought in a medal for Team USA at the Olympiad. Begim, unfortunately, I say unfortunately because I feel very sad regarding the news of her switching federations back to her home country. But I think her contributions have been so important to US chess, and I definitely wanted to bring you her story and say how thankful I am and how inspired I was by her achievements in the United States. Begim, thank you so much for accepting the invitation and being here tonight.
Hi Sabina, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the invitation.
It's it's great to have seen you, you know, your chess career, and I had the opportunity to interview you on many occasions when you competed, when I was the social media person, but also we got the chance to play against each other, and I feel that we had some connection because we both come from chess family. So I wanted the audience to hear a little bit about your story. Um, Coming from a family where your siblings were playing chess. Take me back to the moments when you got introduced to chess and what inspired you to stay in the game.
hmm Okay, let's go back. So now my dad loved to play chess, but when he was a kid, there were different times, and Soviet Union, he never had the opportunity at that time to be a chess player. He was passionate, he loved it, and he also loved math, but he ended up being a engineer, not a chess player, not a grandmaster. He never competed in any tournaments. And after that, shortly he switched to a business. While he was a businessman, he had three kids, my older sisters and my brother. So he decided to teach them to play chess uh, as as a hobby, as a fun stuff to do. That's why my sisters, Nafisa Muminova, she's a WGM, and Hulkar Tokhirjonova, she's the WFM. My brother, who didn't play chess professionally at all, he's a Canadian master too, national Canadian master. So they started to play, and my sisters started to play chess when they were like 9, 8 years old, and I was born after that. So three kids were almost like back to back, and then I have a huge gap with my siblings. That's how my story started, because my sisters decided to continue to play chess professionally, and at some point they decided, okay, we want to do that instead of immediately going to college. And my dad supported them because he liked the game. So that's how I grew up, watching them play chess. And my brother taught me how to play when I was like 3.5, 4 years old. Around there, it wasn't an easy thing for him to do, but I am forever grateful that he took the time to really teach me to play the game. And definitely my love to the game grew through seeing my sisters compete, and I really loved competing. I really loved to win, to be exact. So that's how my chess career began.
So your first inspiration in the world of chess was basically were your siblings, in a way, right?
Definitely.
And
Yeah, definitely.
I know you and I had a conversation recently because I was asking you, in Uzbekistan, I know this woman grandmaster, Muminova Nafisa, and what is going on with her? And you told me something, she's my sister. So,
Yes.
for people who don't know, and I was quite fascinated to hear the story about the name, the fact that she has a different last name, and you told me the story. Would you mind sharing it with the audience as well?
Yeah, definitely. So many people are shocked. They think like we look alike, but many of them didn't know. We're not like, of course, from Uzbekistan. or from like Asian countries, because we have played many tournaments back then. So probably people like found out. But her last name is Muminova, Nafisa Muminova, while mine is Tokhirjonova. And my other siblings share the same last name, which means like my second sister, my brother, three of us Tokhirjonovas, and the other ones are my mom and my dad also Muminova. The thing is that before Soviet Union collapsed, the rule was to get your father's last name as your last
Of
name, and
course.
whoever was born after Soviet Union, they changed that you will inherit your grandfather's name as your last name. So the rule has changed, and we were born. Now we have like Muminovas versus Tokurjanovas rivalry.
I was going to
Three
continue.
split 3-3.
I was going to continue my question regarding that. So, was that some kind of, rivalry, but also supporting each other so that you do better than, the other side of the family? Or was it always like, probably it was mostly like a joke, but also maybe inspiration to try to do better? Or how was it?
No, definitely it was about just messing around. We would like mention it, we have a competitive family. My dad was a wrestler too. That's how like we got into sports. So we're all competitive. My mom loves, anyways, her last name is out there, but they are definitely proud of us too. And definitely it's just a small joke
And did
in
you
our family.
did you ever get to I mean, did you often play against each other, blitz training games? And when was the first time you started maybe winning against your sister,
Mhm.
Nafisa?
I I think she crushed me most of the
Oh,
games
okay.
until I was like 12. But I remember when I was like 6 years old, I just started to, solve some puzzles, understand more about the game. I would have a session, like 1 hour session. My dad would wake me up at 6 a.m. until he goes to work at 7. Would do like a little bit of chess, but mainly I would wake up because like he would just hug me entire like hour. I would just sit with him and then he would show me how to play this. So he said once like, okay, try to play with your sisters. And then they had like 1 minute, but before it was like 30 seconds against 5 minutes. They would, both of them would crush me. And then my second sister is a very strong chess player as well, but she decided to end her career very early due to like different reasons. She's just a very talented person. She was interested in different things, but whatever. So both of them crushed me, even my brother. Then slowly I started to grow, and when I was like around 12 years old, I could compete with them, and that's when I actually was included to the women's national team. And when I was around 13, 14, I already started to play for the team. Like I played Asian indoors when I was like 14 years old or something around there.
Very nice. And I know in 2011 you won a bronze medal at the World Youth Championships. Was that the start of shaping your future career in chess? Was that
Mhm.
an inspiration, or when do you feel that your decision to focus on competitive chess started?
Honestly, it was completely random. If I was focused, probably I would just win the tournament. Even last round, I had a winning position. The problem was that I wasn't really into chess that much. Even in Brazil, it's just a new country. I love traveling, and
Hmm.
I feel like my dad and my sisters never wanted to take that part away from me. That like childishness, like having fun. I went to swimming pool every day, even though my sisters, both of them, prepared. Like they were at that time in Singapore. It's just like totally like early morning for them. They would wake up to prepare me for the games. They took it seriously. I think it's their medal, not mine. I
Oh,
just played the most more like like that. But I wasn't serious at all. Back then, like now, I think young generation is smarter, more goal driven than I was, because that time I was like totally about traveling and having fun.
I think you are no, come on, Begim. Listen, I think as a chess player, it is very important to have some kind of activity outside of the activity, do some kind of sports because that helps with your mind, get
Hmm.
ready to prepare and think about it.
Yeah.
The preparation, and I hope everyone who's listening to our conversation, they remember that the preparation doesn't always have to happen just at the tournament, right? So if you prepare
Yeah, that's
beforehand,
true. Yeah,
right?
definitely I had fun. I started to do more chess and less of school, because
Mm-hmm.
at the time, like in Uzbekistan, you had to choose one. Like that was the thing. Either you go all day to school, or like you're more or less like homeschooled and then do chess. I enjoyed definitely playing the game, and I think the fact that I had siblings who actively participated in this process definitely helped me a lot. And for example, my brother played with me. Like, think about it. He's a young student. He's very talented. He does a lot of college and stuff like at that time, and still he makes like a time to play with like 10 years old girl. I would just like start playing blindly, and then he
Nice.
would make the moves, and then he would play like bunch of games like this every day with me. So until I start beating him all the time, he just played with me for years every day. So even the fact that I wasn't like working hard, but I was having fun in the process, and just like having my siblings who completely support me definitely helped me. And yeah, like somehow like my dad was more strict to my sisters like than me. So maybe if I took chess like seriously earlier, it would be better. Maybe it wouldn't, because different experiences shape a child's like personality. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely having those different experiences and having fun while playing is like definitely is a motivation. It was a motivation for me at that time in Uzbekistan. There was a rule: if you win 9 games, like basically 9 out of 9, and your opponent would basically whoever got second place is 1.5 points behind you, you go to the Asian Championship and then World Championship yourself,
Mm.
and it's fully covered. Otherwise, they wouldn't let you to play for even your own money. They were the rules at the time. So I was driven to win all of my games, and it was a huge motivation for me.
Okay, so you see, you found something that inspired you, like you enjoyed the
Yes.
traveling, and you found the time to
think my
work.
dad found. I think my dad found. He said I didn't know about the rule, and then he's
Mm-hmm.
like casually mentioned once, and he's like, think about it. You will go to this country and that country. I'm like, wow, I gotta do that, and I did it so many times, like every year, and no one wanted me to play. They were like telling my parents, "Can you please?" Like take her out already. After 14 years old or 15 years old, I stopped playing the championships.
I see. You had traveled a lot by then, so you didn't need to go as
Definitely.
much. No, but yeah, I think it's important as a kid, as you say. I like this idea of trying to enjoy chess and take the training seriously so that you can enjoy some other parts of life. And of course, the part with the swimming, I gotta tell you, in a lot of world youth or European championships, I was doing the same thing. I was doing that for my, mental clear, to have my mind clear when I played. So I don't think you did anything wrong. But I don't want people to think that you weren't training. So I want you to tell me what what did how did a life or a day, a training day when you were training and you were able to kind of combine also your studies with chess when you're seriously training on chess in order to get ready to
Mhm.
be able to go to those competitions and win. How many hours would you say you were working, and what besides playing games with siblings, what specific areas of the game did you
Mm.
were you trying to target?
Well, I started to train seriously when I was 14 years old. And when I was 16, it gave its, how do you call it, its results. And I
Mhm.
became a woman grandmaster in 2 years. But for 2 years, it was pretty much traveling a lot. Playing is a great experience to get. So you can see your mistakes and where you should improve. I also focused on end games, but it's not the only thing. I had very bad openings and tried to improve those openings, and because it's a different level when you are switching from youth championships to real ones. And also I try to work my middle games and calculation. I think calculation is very important. Without it, it's hard to play, and a lot of women's players lack, including myself. I like the ability to calculate as well as many male chess players. So definitely improving that areas helped me. And now I'm talking to you, I'm thinking I should start doing that.
I love that
So,
advice. All of these podcasts I'm doing, I'm taking extra advice myself and trying to note it somewhere, to because no, I totally agree with you. I remember myself when I 2017, which is a year I want to ask you about. In 2017, I trained quite a bit my calculation, and that was a great year for me professionally, not personally, unfortunately. But that was the year that I won the U.S. Women's Championship, and the only way I was able to do that, I think, is because all I did for a few months was just train calculation, and trying to gain some confidence a bit, which was hard. Going back to you, Begim, because this podcast is about you. In 2017, you qualified for the Women's World Chess Championship, and what did that mean to you? And was that the year,
mhm.
or maybe it was 2018?
2018,
18,
the
right?
actually World Championship. Yeah.
That's when it took place, and you did really well. I remember I was playing there too, but you did really
Top
well.
eight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to top eight there, and I lost to Ju and Jun
Hmm.
in the final match because I wasn't experienced enough. So it was clear I could fight her, but there were moments that I spent my time wrong. There were moments like she just outskilled me
I see.
in in some ways. So it was a great match to have, and I'm hoping that I will get the chance again, definitely. But it changed the World Cup right now. But at the time, I didn't expect anything. I was paired with Skashlinskaya first round, and we knew that she was extremely experienced and she had been on top for a long while. So I didn't know what to expect. I was just a young player who was just excited to be there. It
Hmm.
was in Hanti-Mansisk, Russia. So after I won this match, very unexpectedly, I'm playing Gunina, Valentina Gunina. And I was like, okay, my dad would say every day, "Don't worry, it's so cold in here. So if you lose, we'll just go home. It's very nice because we didn't have even like enough space to move around, you know.
I remember. I
So
remember. I was there. I
yeah,
was there. It
yeah,
was very
you
cold.
remember.
Yeah.
It was very cold. Still, my dad would take me out for like 20-minute walks. That was insane. It was like so cold because we didn't have any space in our hotels. We were forced to. So we had a very good mindset going in, no pressure, and we did whatever we could. And I still do believe that I I could have done more, but at that time, unfortunately, I wasn't experienced to do more. And it showed that I have a future as a chess player, which was very important for me. And definitely, like losing to anyone, no matter if they're world champion or not, it hits hard, and I hated it. I hated it. For 4 days, I couldn't like come to my senses. My dad is like, "Come on, you lost to a world champion." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, if I want to be a world champion, you shouldn't say that." He's a competitive person, but he wanted to say something to make me feel better. He's like, "Oh, finally, we're going home. It's so good." I'm like, "No," because when you know you could do more, it's just like it hurts a lot. But other than that, when I beat Gunina, I felt like I can do more, and I played against like defending world champion Tang Songye, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, she was the world champion, and I was playing okay. I'm like, I wasn't scared of none of them. Like, I'm not scared in general. So it, it showed that I can do that. So
Yeah.
it was a great tournament for me.
No, I remember that was probably one of the first times that I probably, well, we didn't know each other then, but I remember there was this girl that was not very high rated normally, right? You played all of the players you
Yeah.
mentioned, for those of you who don't know, they're top players, very strong players for many years. And you had the chance to knock them out. So you won the match against them, and the World Cup for for women at the time was a knockout system, and you knocked out three, right? And then you lost to Jun Van Jun. Yeah,
Yeah. It was top eight, and we were
yeah,
playing matches. Top
yeah.
four, it would get me a spot. Like basically, I was a match away from
The
candidates, so it
candidates.
was like so so hard. I was like, oh.
But that must have been a big motivation for you to try to get higher and continue improving
Yeah,
in your
in
chess
a way,
career.
it was a good motivation, but at the same time, after that tournament, things didn't go well for me next tournaments. I felt like I didn't uh, take a stop that I needed,
Hmm.
or something went wrong. Somehow, I felt that I was burnt out. But at the time, I didn't know I was burnt out, and I kept playing. 2019 wasn't a great year, but now looking back, I lost like maybe 15 points, 20 points. It wasn't a lot. So for me, then I felt like no matter what, I was going down, and something was going on with me, and I couldn't figure out. And I kept blaming myself, like, oh, I'm not training enough, I'm not doing enough. Because once you have this result, you just like you just want to keep going, but at the same time, you expect strongly, definitely expect from yourself more and more, which I did wrong in my opinion. But definitely, it was a great motivation for me. But I did some couple of things wrong, but still, because of those results, I still know that I can achieve a lot.
Do you feel that this is something that I notice happens to other players too sometimes? You have a great tournament, and then sometimes we feel that we have to achieve as good, or if not even better than what we did. And I hearing you say this makes me think of my own too, because it's something that, when you something is going so well for you, you feel that you want to stop. Like, I hear you about the burnout, but also, do you think that the things started going worse and worse because you started having so many high expectations of yourself? You think that's the
Yeah,
reason?
only not high expectation. I would say I put pressure on
Mm-hmm.
myself, like extra pressure for no reason to continue doing that. Because you need to play, honestly, you need to play any sports because you love the sport, because you love the competition, not because you love the results.
Right.
I think it's very important to remember, and definitely these days is my goal whenever I'm playing to make sure that I'm enjoying the process, not the final destination. I think that's what separates great like great players from middle players, because usually they want results, they want to do something faster and stuff, while great players probably just enjoy the process, love the game. And that's why it's very important to keep that mindset alive, I guess, and also have bigger goals, maybe help you. It really depends on your, I think, on your ambitions. Maybe having like, oh, I want to reach that in 10 years. Maybe it would help you to play longer and then never like have that pressure that's saying, oh, I need to achieve now. No, you're like, oh, I have 10 years. In 10 years, I want to be there. So maybe like different perspective would help. So it really depends on a player, and chess is a hard sport, so it's hard to tell what happens. But I think definitely no matter what, everyone makes mistakes, and then we just learn from them. And if we're lucky enough, we learn from them and continue playing.
I loved how you put it, Begim. It sounded very beautifully. Enjoy the process. Don't only think of the final destination. It's something a lot of us have to remind ourselves about, because sometimes you're only wanting that thing. If you don't get it, you feel so bad. But if you look at yourself, throughout the year, so you take a period of time and you see, well, last year, this time, I had this rating, let's say, and now I'm here. That's a plus, and you need to be proud of yourself for
Yeah.
working towards different goals. In 2019, I believe that was also the year that you decided to come study in the United States.
Yeah.
How was that decision, and how do you think, how difficult was it to balance your education with
Mhm.
continuing your chess career?
I mean, that's the funniest thing I have ever done, I guess. Maybe one of the best decisions or the worst decisions, I have no clue. Because still, I was like 24, 30, and I'm doing great. Everything is going great. And somehow I had a feeling I should go to college. Because, while playing chess, I felt like I was missing out something else. And I always strongly felt like I want to do, like, not I want to do, I want to be someone more than just a player, chess player. And those thoughts brought me in the US to the US, because I felt like getting an education while doing chess is a brilliant opportunity for me to explore something more, something bigger than a chess player in me. And so that was the decision I made for this reason. But at the same time, my family is like, where are you going? Like, you have so much rating, like you can go and play. You're like 19, 20 years old, and you're doing great. But that time I had different circumstances and stuff, so I decided, like, I felt like I want to study. I want to study and just see how it works. And trust me, I was so far away from these like things, college education. I was a free spirit, I would always read something I'm interested in. I'm interested in philosophy, psychology, like novels, some novels, and then some new writers. It's just like, and watching movies. I explored the world. And then when it comes to education, I got to education on a different way. And then college is different. I didn't even know what Ivy League meant. Like, I was that far away from education. And then when I came to Mizzou, I was like, what's Ivy League? I remember I asked someone. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, that kind of girl I was. It's just like, and I had a very hard time understanding why people like need college, why we need to spend like 4 years, why we should go to classes. Some are, in my opinion, not not valuable as much. Or I would always ask myself what I'm gonna do with this class, or what I'm gonna do with this knowledge. So it was a hard battle between my like free spirit and just like have this control over this your classes and go there, learn or whatever, memorize and pass the class. So in my opinion, like, passing wasn't as important as learning something you truly enjoy. So it was hard. I dropped all of my rating too, by the way. So that was an interesting switch, definitely, that many people didn't understand. Even my family, they're like, don't rush, you can go a couple more years later. But it worked out the way it worked out.
But you are such a, your personality is so open and, like you say, free spirit. You like to learn new things, and I think just having the opportunity to learn more and share your, your personality with the world, and chess probably helped you with that, because you got to travel and see different people, and start being interested in a lot of things that, I think it's nice to see that you decided to share with the world, not only your passion for chess, but other things as well. I know you also enjoy social media and posts, and you've done some great interviews as
Thank you,
well
Sabina.
with
You
players.
did
And
too.
I think, I think it's nice to be able to share some other passions too. Although, of course, as a chess player, from my part of being a chess player, rating has been a huge thing for me too. I dropped a lot myself when I started studying, but you know what they say, rating comes and goes, but memories
It's easy to
remain.
say. It's easy to say. But yeah, definitely, like, I was stuck on that rating for some reason. I don't know why, but I think it just meant like a lot for me, because it was my life basically, and it was my life's kind of like work and results and stuff like that. But looking back, I'm like, I would never do that. I never put that pressure on me, because yeah, rating comes and goes, but I don't think we should talk about rating like something that it's important, or as not important thing like that. So, and usually chess players divide into two. Oh, it's important. They're all about their ratings, and some are like, oh, comes goes. But I think it's important to find a balance in between while enjoying playing chess. To be mindful about your rating, it means that you're putting some work on, and then it means you're trying to improve, shape something, so you have better results. But in the end of the day, we do care about results, and if
Mhm.
you keep working but not achieving anything, it hurts, you know. It's not even about like financial goods or who you feel like a chess player or person. It's about like your work and results. And so in between, I think what we can do is to enjoy the process, but at the same time be mindful about results.
That is true, certainly. And you also had some great finishes at the U.S. Women's Championship. You finished. I know it just feels it's hard for me to say, because oftentimes you were leading, you're doing really great, and you
Yeah.
finished second three times, 3 years in a row. Um, Tell me a little bit about your thinking process of finishing second. Did it, were you feeling, I'm not trying to to say anything negative. I think it's amazing. But tell me, how did you feel? Did you feel happy? Did you feel
Hmm.
like you could do more? How was your,
Hmm.
mindset, with those
Well,
competitions?
I played 4 US Women's
For same.
Championships, and yeah, I got second place out of for 3 times. Once I just had a terrible tournament because some things weren't going my way, and also I was struggling with school, so really like I couldn't give my all. So it was a bad tournament, but I came back and got another 2 second and second again. So for second place was definitely hurtful. I didn't want to go to the closing ceremony too. I was like, who
Oh,
cares about the second place? I always have this mindset. And then second time I was like, okay, next time I'm gonna win. And then next time again I didn't win. I was like, okay, whatever. Sometimes there are tournaments you cannot win for some reason, but every time uh, when I got second place, I tried to come back like next year stronger to change something. So I was doing something wrong. I wasn't enough as a chess player. I wasn't enough, and some cases, maybe towards the end, maybe in the middle, maybe in the beginning. So one careless movement, more careless in general, like game can cost you. And I have always been like careless, I guess, at some point. So that's what happens. And definitely first places always played a little bit more precise, a little bit more like opponent driven than me, maybe. So definitely I made mistakes and I paid for them. So second place is the worst place you can get in the world, I guess.
That's not
Third place,
true. That's not true. Come on.
third place, you don't feel like third place. You're like, okay, but there are two people better. They perform better than me. When you're that close, you know, it was a like very close competition, and you don't get it. You feel like something is wrong with you, with your life, whole existence, and stuff like that. But yeah,
But Begim,
I'm
you're
a
a
dramatic
fighter.
person.
You're a fighter. You didn't give up, and you did come every year more and more preparing and more prepared and more eager to win it. So even if it didn't happen, I think second place is still like it's really great. I mean,
No,
you
definitely.
competed.
I really appreciate myself. Just keep getting those points. That was amazing. I'm like, oh, second place is mine.
The problem is sometimes when you finish first, sometimes there's nothing else after that. What is there after to.
Yeah, I was just doing it on purpose to look forward to it
I
again.
know, I know. Yeah, I was trying to make that connection. I don't know if it turned that way or not. Begim, you also were a very important key player in the U.S. Women's Olympic team. You played on the first board, and more recently, last year, the U.S. Women's team got a medal after many years. Tell me, how was the experience? Being a
Mhm.
part of the team, and what did that medal mean to you?
Honestly, like when we played in Chennai,
Hmm.
India, in 2022, when I played the first board there too, uh, I had a feeling, and I really trusted that we could get a medal. But we came short in some moments, and girls got sick, and I wasn't feeling well, like 100% at some point too. It was just a different climate, time zone. It wasn't easy for our team, and we started awful, but in the end we caught up, and
You're really
we ended.
close. You're really
Yeah, we were
close.
so close. And when we played India, the whole team knew we're gonna destroy. We had this motivation
Hmm.
towards the end of the tournament, and then we did. It was 3-1. So it's a huge result, and because of the Bugles, because of the like tie breaks, I guess,
Hmm.
we couldn't make it. We got fourth place because of the just like tie breaks, because we started badly. And going into the Olympiad last
Last year.
year
But I
in
wanna I wanna make a point, Begin, before you tell us this story. I want everyone who's watching and just does not know this, they should check out Chess Life, because you wrote a really beautiful article about the
thank you.
team's performance and the team spirit and everything. So I don't remember which month it was, but check out Chess Life's. It was a
Definitely.
big story that Begim wrote, and it's very beautifully written, and I really enjoyed it.
A
So
lot of credits goes to editors now. They did a great job, and definitely I wanted to write something different than people do. I didn't want to focus on the games as much, even though I showed some moments. I really wanted to talk about team spirit and how it works and how we should do to get something as a team. So when we're going and to into Budapest tournament, like next Olympiad, we believed as a team, especially we had a great addition, Alsley, young, great talent. So we believed that we can medal there. And Krisa started to crush everyone on board too, and Alice was playing well too. So we had this team spirit that we had in Chennai towards the end. but in Budapest from the beginning. And it just meant a lot for definitely for everyone that we medaled. I think it was for the first time in 16 years for US women's team to medal. So it was my honor to represent the first board and represent the US team. So I enjoyed every moment of it.
It was beautiful to see you girls. I was there as a coach for another team, but it was nice to kind of come to your board occasionally and cheer you on. And I want to ask you, whose decision was it for you to play on the first board? Because
Hmm.
you know, that's the toughest board, and you did that
Yeah.
successfully. I mean, that's the goal. Like when you're playing on first
Hmm.
board, I think you have to be, you know, the player that inspires others to do
Hmm.
well. And if you do well, it's kind of like the team feels the spirit that okay, board one
Yeah.
is doing well. We're holding. We got a good position. Now it's my time to shine, and
Yeah.
you know, you are kind of, you know, the inspiration for the rest of the players. How did that come about, and did you ever feel any pressure for being first board?
Definitely, for sports is a huge pressure because you don't want to screw up. Any match points when a team has the same points starts from for sports, and I think it was captain's decision to put me on the first board, Melik Hachian, or maybe it was like, if I'm not mistaken, maybe it was like captain and coach's decision. I have no clue, but it was their decision. I didn't compete to any awards. I think it was based on my performance in Chennai.
Hmm.
So they trusted the board, and I was very happy about it. But at the same time, it's extremely difficult to hold that board. It's challenging, and I love challenges. I wanted to see how it's going to work out, and if it helped the girls in any way, I'm very happy about that.
I think you know, when I heard the news that you decided to switch federations back and go represent your home country, I thought it was a big loss for US chess. But of course, I always, you know, as a friend, I support your decision, and I want to make sure you're happy. And I want to see you succeed in everything that you do. And you know, your I think you have definitely left a big mark on chess and female chess in America. And I hope that a lot of girls will look up to you, to get
Thank you,
inspired
Sabrina.
by your play. And talking about that, I want to ask you if you have any advice for young girls, whether here in the United States or around the world, who are watching this conversation that we're having. Any advice on what they should do? You've mentioned throughout it, but I wanted all, you know, all together once again here for them to hear you. You know, some words of wisdom that you may have for them.
Hmm. Thank you, Sabrina. I really appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. It was a big speech, but we talked about it like a personal decision,
Hmm.
and I'm I'm still honored to be able to represent my country for some you know reasons. I had to leave, and it was at that time painful to leave
Hmm.
my own federation to come to US because I didn't know. I was not sure how I'm going to be welcomed, but everyone welcomed me well. And those past years, I'm very grateful for all the support, and I'm grateful for the girls who openly like invited me to their like part of their life, part of
Hmm.
just their life. And I'm grateful for the St. Louis Chess Club who supported me throughout the years. And definitely going back is a new opportunity for me to represent my home country where I grew up, and it means a lot. It means a lot to get back for me as well. So I'm just forever grateful for the both countries that who welcomed me, US, and who brought me back, Uzbekistan. So I love those countries, and yeah, it's life. Things change, and I think no matter what, I would say to young girls, just keep going. No matter what, where are you from, what are you doing, and who you want to be. I think being persistent and being able to work for long hours without, asking yourself, why am I even doing that? Just keep doing whatever you're doing and trust your gut, listen to your heart, follow your dreams. That's what I would say. And I would do.
I love
I
that.
always try to do.
No, that's it's very nice. I think we have to follow our paths and do what, yeah, follow our hearts. And I'm very happy to hear you have good memories of being here. And don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger, no matter what.
I will
we,
try. I
we
will
want
try.
to. We will continue following your career. Talking about that, more recently, you have gotten your IM title. I know you've been
Yeah.
you had the rating for a while, but you're missing, I think, a norm, right? Is that
Yeah. I was missing a norm somehow for 4 years or 5 years. I don't. Like
okay?
I was missing a norm, yeah. And because of the pandemic, of course, I didn't play 2 years. Maybe like you can take that out. But somehow after I got my second norm and rating and everything, I felt like it had to come at some point, but it never did. And it just happened when I didn't expect it a lot at all. It happened at the US Women's Championship last year. I didn't know I got it, and Chris Bird, the arbiter, everyone knows,
Yeah.
the chief arbiter emailed me saying, "Hey, you got the norm." I was like, "Oh, wonderful!" But he also said, "Hey, you should like apply earlier so you can get it." Guess what? Because I was so upset that I got second place, I didn't even open his email for days. And then when I came to myself, you came to my senses, and I opened, it was already late. So I got it recently, but it's one of the achievements, little achievements that I really appreciate, and it's gonna be forever like that.
Yeah.
Now, no man cannot say, "Oh, you don't have men's
No.
title." I do.
No, but I remember they mentioned that because I was doing social media for the San Luis Chess Club,
Mm.
and they were mentioning that you were going to get the norm, and I was very excited for you. Of course, not I knew at the time, I think it wasn't clear if you would win the championship or not between you and Carissa, I think. And then I heard it and I was like, okay, she at least, like, hopefully, this is like a positive thing to try to think about. And but yeah, so you finally got it. And I think something that a lot of us, when we focus too much, as you said earlier, on one specific goal, sometimes we forget about the process. And the fact that probably you didn't think about it anymore, you're just focusing on the process. That's
Definitely.
when it
At some
happened.
point, at some point, you quit on it. You're like, you know what, whatever. It happens, happens. It doesn't, it doesn't. It's just a matter of time and definitely a matter of work. And I don't know, luck too.
True, true. Maybe a little bit of luck, but you did it. So
I
that
did
is
it.
that's wonderful.
Thank you.
And more recently, you have had an amazing tournament at the US Masters last year. You finished shared third, right?
Yeah, I sure
Tell
so.
us tell us a little bit about how that tournament went. And I have heard that you have a game to share with us, so I can't wait. I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it.
Well, the tournament went uh, overall great for me, but the beginning was very slow. I didn't play that great games. I don't know. It's just like sometimes it happens 2 rounds a day, you never know.
Hmm.
And then it started to come together, everything come together. I beat a GM and then another one and then the third one. It was just like, oh, great finish. Because in those tournaments, at some point, you gotta beat someone higher rated than you to keep like climbing. And so it was definitely a great experience, and I never would even in my wildest dreams think like, oh, I will get shared third when there are like 50 grandmasters playing in the tournament, and the first seed is Bogana Kawana. So it was just definitely very unexpected result for me. I was mainly there just to gain experience, great opportunity to play with many grandmasters. I wasn't thinking about norms or any like prize or place. I was just like, I have time and I want to use this opportunity to gain experience. And I think that's when you perform the best. So I didn't even care about like draws with like lower rated players or something. And I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens. I lost a terrible game to one of the grandmasters. I don't even remember. I'm very bad at maths. And uh, so people won't get upset. You know, so that's how I lost a bad game and then started to play well because I think maybe I got a little bit upset that I lost such a game for no reason. Uh, because I was so confident going into that game and I played so badly, confidently, but bad. I was like, okay, whatever. But it started to come together at some point, and yeah, I finished the tournament with a win against the grandmaster, Robbie Kivishvili, and we're gonna look at that game in a bit or now. I don't
Yes,
know.
let's get started. I'm excited. I think everyone who's been listening to us so far is probably excited to see you play, and I'm excited to talk about the game with you, especially because you know it's an e4, it's an e4
Yeah,
opening, and it's a Sicilian, so you know everyone is excited about the Sicilian. I think I don't
yes.
know. You
It
should
was a
be.
Sicilian. So I had like 5 minutes to prepare two
Oh,
rounds, like usually,
right.
or it was a morning round or something. You just go to sleep or last round. I did it, or like it was in the evening or something. I don't even remember. Anyways, I didn't have much time, and I was like, okay, what can I come up with? And I look at his like openings and stuff. I'm like, okay, I cannot really do anything. So I decided to play e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, cd, knight d4, knight f6, knight c3. Uh,
Najdorf, right?
and this Najdorf system is very common. He sometimes plays that, sometimes something else, but mainly he was playing this line. So I decided to come up with this like small idea f3. I usually don't play that. So I was like, I'm curious what he does here, and I just found out he usually plays this e5, knight b3, bishop e6, bishop e3, and then h5. And here I made a like small interesting move. I thought, in my opinion, bishop e2, but he very fast played knight b7. So he was more familiar with the position than me
Mm-hmm.
because I had like 5 minutes to prepare,
I
and
see.
I think he wasn't that surprised. I said, okay, let's try f4. This was one of the lines I checked f4. Like I didn't check many moves because I didn't have time.
Mm-hmm.
So when he played g6, I was already out. I didn't know what to do.
I
I was
see.
like, because it's not a good move. And when you have 5 minutes, you just have like three lines of the engine.
Right. So you're
Don't
looking at the
really
good moves.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you are analyzing with the engine and when your brain is working and you are processing stuff, you just ask yourself a question. It's like a very logical move. Why I cannot do that?
Right. Well,
Like,
basically, like his g6 should be bad. Like you can probably see it, like for yeah, right, because you
yes,
don't open your bishop normally this way, right? But
yes.
he's trying to stop f5, and you put pressure. I mean, because your f3, f4 is also seems a bit
Yeah, it
uh,
seems a bit off because you're playing
exactly.
f3
Yeah.
and then you're giving a tempo away. But what's the point? You can ask, but it's like a computer move, and computer has its own reasons to play that.
Well,
And you
probably
can,
d5, right? To stop d5 because you put pressure in e5 or something, right?
no, it's just like taking is not that great here
Mm-hmm.
because of bishop f4. For example, why you cannot play knight e5, right? So I just play h3 and then slowly I play queen d4 and long castle. Uh, like
Ah, nice. Queen d4. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like queen
Queen d4,
d4,
long castle. I can make the
long
arrows.
castle.
Yeah.
Okay, mine is not working for some reason. And long castle. So it's just a pleasant position.
Right.
Black seems like kind of active, but at the same time not much. So I was like, okay, cute, cute idea. I will try. And
Hmm.
after h3, I feel like he didn't know much after f4 in general. He didn't know much. He was just playing fast. I have a feeling he was so confident because it was me.
Oh, come on. You should have
He knows
more
he knows
confidence in
me.
yourself.
We played a couple of times. He beat
Hmm.
me a couple of times. We made a draw, and then maybe I beat him a couple. But like, he was confident. He knows me, what kind of player I am, and he was sure. I guess at some point I will make a mistake, and he will just like take over the game.
Mm.
So,
See, this
uh,
overconfidence sometimes is not so good.
oh, I love it when my
For
opponents
you.
are confident.
Yeah,
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 it's
for you it's
great for
good.
me. It's just
Exactly.
like in the end of the day, only good moves win.
That's
I don't
true.
care how confident you are. And so he played rook c6, which is a very logical move. He's like, after castle, I'm not threatening. In his opinion, I'm not threatening. f5, you can take and bishop c4.
Hmm.
Two, and then he played
Oh,
h4
sorry.
for that reason, because in his opinion, like after f5, he thought takes and bishop c4, he should be totally fine. But I don't like h4 at all. And during the game, I couldn't understand why he made this move, because he's not developed yet. He needs to
Right.
develop the bishop. He needs to develop the queen, and then start something. And then the position is so dynamic. So having the pieces out really helps. Even though I understand the center is not open, maybe king is not in danger, but I'm slowly opening up the files, and he needs to do something really quickly. And I played f5, which was a right decision. Bishop c4 takes, and I played queen d3, which is another right decision. I'm developing. I keep developing, and those are very natural moves that you can make very easily. And he played rook c8. The engine says rook c6 was good, but as a human being, I think you just need to sit a little bit more calculated, think why it's way better than that. But he just made a move which was a very like obvious human reaction,
Right.
in my
Right.
opinion.
It feels that
So
c6 sometimes maybe they can use the rook at some point to maybe go on the other side if he ever gets
yeah,
d5. Maybe
because
that's
the
why.
because the engine is saying after rook c6, knight d2 is like a very strong move.
Hmm.
The thing is that after bishop e7, I can play knight e4, and of course d6 is target. While rook was on c6, that wouldn't be an
Right.
immediate issue for him. So he would have time to develop better. And of course, I made a mistake. a4. See, I'm losing time too. As the engine suggests, I have to activate the piece because on b3 it's not working. And if I had to activate the piece, he would have huge problems. a4 is a slow because after knight d2, b5 is not a real threat. I'm playing knight e4, and this pawn is hanging. Also, I already developed all of my pieces while he's like underdeveloped, so he doesn't have time
Right. And
to move his pawns and then try to be active. Like it's just a false
right.
uh,
And
activity,
no
I would
light
call
square
it.
bishop. That's the bad thing for him. He has so many pawns on black. No light
Yeah, and
square
then all of
bishop.
his light squares are controlled by white pieces, which is not easy for black to play. So I missed my chance, and suddenly the position is equal because he's playing queen c7 here. He
Hmm.
played it and quite fast, and it's already balanced again because he already developed the queen. It's just the easier way to understand for everyone, beginners too. He developed the queen. I gave away tempo with a4, which didn't make sense.
Hmm.
Now, if you look at my game, I am looking at it. I'm like, I no way I didn't understand simple truths. Like you have to activate pieces. These are more important, right? So those moments exist, and everyone makes mistakes like that.
Of course.
I
And
didn't.
you know what they say, Begim. Life is better understood backwards, but we have to live it forward. Same with the
That's
chess
true.
game.
Unfortunately. Well, sometimes you can learn from others' mistakes, but sometimes you will have to learn from yours.
Yeah.
So I played rook f2 uh, with the idea like I wanted to protect c2, but at the same time I want to play rook d1, rook d2, and at the same time I'm protecting the king from like unneeded checks maybe, and I'm protecting g2 pawn. So I felt like it was a good move overall. I liked it a lot. He played rook g8. He's also like trying to attack from the g file, but that's the reason why I protected everything.
What
So
I
I played rook e1.
what I
Yes.
like about your game, Begim, is the fact that you have this space for your rooks. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have the first rank and second rank, so you have a bit more space, and you have this ability to choose the file where you want to place your rooks. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
love your rook f2, because you're not deciding with this rook from a1, do I put it in d1 or e1? So you're not showing yet, but then with this one you can choose. Maybe I'll go to e2, maybe to d2,
Yeah.
depending, right? So
But no,
it's
at the same
nice.
time, just protecting. And also he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
ideas with knight h5 and knight g3, knight f4, and rook is placed great on f2 for that reasons too. So it was definitely a defensive move, and I played rook e1. I felt like it was a good idea against rook g3. Now I could play knight d2,
Hmm.
and suddenly knight d4 is a tempo. So that's why I'm just protecting the bishop too. And he played queen c6, keeping the pressure to g2, and he's trying to activate his pieces as well and play d5. Now d5 can be a threat, so I had to play knight a5 because d5 is a real threat. And
Hmm.
he played queen c7, knight b3. I knew that he's not going to repeat the moves, but unfortunately, because of this one stupid move a4, I lost all of my advantage. No, it's really a stupid. All of my advantage, basically, immediately the game is balancing out, and you can see that I didn't understand the dynamics. I didn't understand the moment, and it was a crucial moment, and I missed it. So, and I have to make a draw, no matter how I felt about my position or feeling about it. I have to be rational, and rational positions like this, I cannot do anything else. And I didn't know what to try. And he played bishop e7. I was like, I knew that because grandmaster style, you repeat a couple of times and then you make another move, which is not a bad move, but it shows that he wants to fight and he wants to win, which is great. And I was really happy to continue the game because I had a feeling I had more perspective, even though the engine can say it's zeros or equal. I felt like I had a more perspective in the position, but I didn't know how to continue the game right away. So I'm kind of grateful he did. He did play bishop e7. I played rook d2, which is a bad move. Immediately bad reaction because I'm not threatening anything. It's just the paranoid play against d5 while they're not threatening anything. So
Something like
in
this,
my
maybe?
yes, definitely knight b6 was a great move. The idea is like knight c4. I don't know why he didn't play that move. He feels pretty logical in the position, but he played queen c4. I think his idea was to exchange the queens, and you usually in Sicilian, after exchanging the queens, your position is better, and then his center is stronger than mine. I mean, I don't have any center, pawn center. So he felt very comfortable about this position, and
But
I
is it
don't have.
really? Is it really? Because that h4 pawn is normally not there when you trade, right? That's your plus. That's why probably you were happy that with the trade, no? Because that's a
No,
weakness.
really, h4 pawn is actually fixing my king side, and then if you imagine if you can put d4, d5, or
Okay.
like d5, d4, or
Don't let
e4,
him.
knight
Don't let him.
e5. Of course, that's the thing that's why
Hmm.
it balances out.
Hmm.
He has a great. I think h4 pawn is a great pawn. I cannot really attack it, and it's fixing the king side. And he has an open file, g file. He's doing great. And after knight b6, he would do better. But he thought like queen c4 is stronger. So I played bishop f2 just to see. It's like a fake attack. I cannot really take it,
True, true.
and I wanted to free up my pieces from like e file and open up my rook. I felt like it's a good decision to make. And he played knight h5, which he did it quite fast, which I really didn't expect. Probably I thought he's gonna take it, and I wasn't sure if I want to take with the c or rook d3. It just seems so. If I took with the rook, it just seems so good for black.
Yeah,
He
that
played
center is
immediately
scary.
this move, which blundered away the whole position. Okay, with bishop f2, it was a little trap too, that I knew that knight h5 is bad as well. So I took it and played knight a5, and suddenly the position is collapsing because this move is so bad, and my knight is coming to a5 with a tempo and to d5 with a tempo, and rook doesn't have good squares. For example, I couldn't do it here, here because knight a5, rook c7, and I do not have knight d5 move. And because here, knight f6 is protecting.
I want to make this comment, is I think this is something a lot of people can take from your game. You got to be mindful with your knights, because these two knights, this is something I learned, you know, as a kid, they're complementary in a way. They control the center, and whenever one moves away, you always want to look for ways to put another knight in the center. And Begim in this position, immediately you notice this this idea, and you immediately went for it. Like the knight went away, and you're like, oh, free square for me. I love that.
It's like complete complete different position. As you can see, a lot of times, as I didn't notice and played a4, we forget about dynamics of the position. Timing is very important, and one tempo decides everything in chess. If he had this position with knight on f6, or if I let him to bring it back, his position is suddenly completely fine. So that's why whoever makes the last mistake loses in chess. So one mistake is all it takes. So he played rook b4. It's like more tricky move, because rook, of course, rook c7 is so easy to spot. Knight d5 is coming. So he wanted to at least put some problems, because if knight d5, you need to calculate here bishop g5, rook a4, rook b2, how it's going to happen. So if he played rook b2, but if he played rook a4, I'm just taking on b7, and e7 is hanging, d6 is hanging, rook d1, rook e d1 is coming, like the position is collapsing. He has such a discoordination in the position, he cannot fix. The king is not protected well, and funny enough, knight on h5 is not doing anything. It's just another pawn.
And now your knight is restricting that one, to be clear. To be clear, how, for everyone to understand how great that knight d5 is. You know, if you're playing the Najdorf with black, make sure you're mindful about a knight there, and don't go away from the square unless you have
d5 is the heart of the position. Usually when in the structures with the 65 pawn, a lot of pressure goes to d5 square. If you have like a white squared bishops, that's why I try to exchange it, and bishop tries to be mindful about when and where to exchange it. So it's like a very, you know, it's just like a tough game, mind game. What can I say? So this is all the trick. He just completely missed, I do believe, after he saw knight d5, but he thought, okay, I'm going to take on b2, but she cannot do anything. He completely missed my move knight c4, because after rook a2, knight c3 back, and suddenly you're kind of trapped. So I think during the game he did that, and I do believe he was out of energy to its last round. He wanted to be just like done with the tournament most probably, and he thought it was a juicy opponent to try to win. So a little bit careless, or maybe a little bit exhausted, and yeah, he missed this. After that, it's pretty easy, but you should be and still want to be a little bit precise here. He played at d4 and d5. He's challenging me. Which one? Would you like to take on a2, or would you like to take on d5? And I think, yes, I think the engine is taking on a2. He's like, I'm not scared of anything. I'm fine. I'll just play rook e d1 and I will be fine. But I felt like I don't need the rook. I wanted to take on d5. I wanted to attack the king. I thought, what you're gonna do? Like, I want to play knight d5. Rook is not working on e2, and I felt like I need to go after the king, even though knight a2 was objectively better. He played bishop g5. I think it's a good move. He's resisting, and after rook e2. He played knight f4. He's trying to activate his piece finally. I have to take on f4. I can't play knight d6 first, but I thought I should just take it. I didn't see a huge difference and just took the pawn. So
see, I told you that pawn. I told you that pawn would be lost. See? I knew.
Finally collapsed, right?
Finally.
And after rook a4, I was very happy about rook e4 move. Now,
yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, I'm threatening knight d6 and I'm attacking the rook. I'm threatening rook f4, but not directly, because after rook f4, there can be a move b5.
Mm-hmm.
So he played king f8, trying to avoid all these threats, and I played rook d1. Now, it's the downside of king f8. Now, the knight is hanging, and knight doesn't have really good squares to move. And also, if you can see, I'm already putting some mating like traps, bishop f6 and rook d8, this kind of mate. And then if you cannot escape with the king, it's kind of mate. So he should be very mindful about the position, but at the same time he cannot do much here.
Mm-hmm.
He played rook h8, tried to push the bishop back.
Mm-hmm.
Then he wanted to escape with the knight to have some chances. And I was very proud of the move I found, which is not that hard, I agree, but it was a cute move. I played bishop d8, still keeping the threat, because if you play knight c5, now I play bishop f6, and suddenly you're getting mated. Rook d8 is coming, and you don't have time to escape. And yeah, you could play this move, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah,
you can go rook e1. You would go rook e1. You would go rook e1.
Good job.
You were testing me to see if I can see it. Yes. That's cute. Yeah.
So he played rook h6, objectively the best move, I guess, to try to get the piece back, because after taking, he has a move rook c6, and after rook c7, I'm winning, but rook f4 was a cute move. Which I didn't make. I was like, do I need this or not? I wasn't sure. I was like, I'm so exhausted calculating. Maybe I shouldn't go, but it's almost mating. So, of course, my coach yelled at me. You were like lazy. You knew. Why didn't you take it? I'm like, yeah, I saw it, but like, why I should do it if I have an easier way? He's like, no, it's not easier. It's not about easier. It's about being precise. And rook c7 is not easy, because you have to be precise even more there.
That's true.
It's giving more chances. So never try to get the easier, but try to get the right way.
Don't relax until you sign the score sheets.
Exactly.
That's when you know the game is really over.
Yeah, and then we are just playing g3. I was very happy about this move, just in case, because he was kind of threatening bishop g3 moves, and I really didn't like it.
And now he's mating you on the back rank if you're not careful.
Yeah, I was calculating some lines, and then if I even play king f1, then rook a1, rook e1 exchange, and it takes forever to win those positions, even though, yeah, it's totally winning. I was like, let me play g3, and also I'm opening up my rook to the g file. And I wanted to mate him, basically, as soon as possible and end the tournament.
Yes, of course.
He took on g3. I played rook e2. It's very important to have this c2 pawn, which is restricting the rook. And also, like, I'm not giving connected pawns to him. Still, I understand it's like up a piece, but you gotta be careful. Bishop f4 he played, and f6. I'm creating this mating threats again. Rook a3, and I played h4. I'm just very greedy. I didn't want to give away any my pawns. I was like, f6 is there now. I'm gonna push the h pawn. Maybe life is great. So he played rook c3, bishop d8. I want to play rook g2, and then bishop e7 is coming. So he resigned here. He admitted I can win this position. I was like, okay, good. We can all go home.
No, that was a beautiful finish, Begim. I really liked it. I mean, it's...
And unexpectedly, it brought me the shared third, which was the highlight of my career, I guess, last year's career. So it was good.
It was nice to see you do so well, because I remember I was actually checking a bit that tournament. I was planning on playing it, but finally, for different reasons, I wasn't able to myself, because I played the
Hmm.
previous year and I did well. Um,
Definitely, it's a fun tournament if you play well. Otherwise, it's like a forever struggle, in my opinion.
yeah, definitely is one of
It
the
never
struggles.
ends.
You always get if you play well and you win a couple of games, then you play grandmaster after grandmaster after grandmaster, kind of like you did.
Yeah,
And as you said, in order to be able to finish strong, the way it's going to happen is to beat one of those grandmasters and then to
exactly.
beat the next one. And and the in a way, it's kind of nice, wouldn't you say, to be in a way lower rated, like kind of the dark horse, because they underestimate
Hmm.
you, and then you you can show your true power, or what.
Definitely, it's fun, but like not forever. A couple of times, it's always good to have more like rating points, you know. But yeah, definitely. And I like the fact that they have a fighting spirit. No one says, "Okay, draw is fine, let's go home." And I really appreciated that my opponent kept playing and kept putting problems. Otherwise, the learning process never happens. And I understood my mistakes. I understood what I did wrong because he gave me the chance to play the game out. So it was nice of him, and it could go either way because I made a mistake, and if he used it correctly, he would have a better position, and maybe he would beat me too. So
It's true. And you made a really good point. At that specific moment when the position was repeating, you made a rational and objective decision in that position. You realized you probably missed your chance when you played that A4 move. And you told yourself, okay, the position is balanced now. If I, try too hard, I'm going to get a worse position. So I need to make the objectively best move that I think is in the position and repeat. And that is something a lot of us forget to do as we play a game, because we think we want to beat our opponent, because, oh, we had this chance, maybe we'll have it again. But, chess is the kind of game where you have to make sure you take your
mhm.
time and be objective, because,
Yeah,
you cannot play hope chess. You have to make
that's
sure
true.
that you trust your
But we
instincts.
usually do play hop
We
chess,
do, yeah.
unfortunately, especially when we're weighting favorites. I think the same thing happened with him because he's gonna lose rating points. So why he has to lose it without like playing? So it's very understandable, and it's always understandable and good for them if they win, but good for us if we do.
Of course, of course. Looking back at your journey, Begim, what would you say was the most rewarding part of being a chess player?
Not connected to chess is definitely traveling the world, having
Hmm.
friends who speak different languages, who came from different cultures, backgrounds, and exchanging experience, sharing life, sharing moments, memories. It's wonderful and rewarding, and I wouldn't change it for anything in the world because I have been to many countries, many places, and I have met many wonderful people because of chess. And I will be forever, forever grateful for that opportunity. I feel like I must have done something special, maybe previous life or something to deserve it. So it's wonderful, definitely. Connected to chess is rewarding moments when you play and when you feel like you're not dumb. Basically.
Oh.
When you feel like you have done something and
Hmm.
it wasn't for nothing. And as a person, as a chess player and professional, you feel not because of the result, sometimes because of the good game, because of that single moment, you feel fulfilled of who you are as a
Hmm.
professional chess player. So I think it's wonderful, wonderful to be a chess player sometimes.
And what would you say motivates you to keep striving for more, to keep fighting for more? What's your biggest motivation?
I think biggest motivation is my dreams and my my curiosity that never lets me be lazy. Even though I love being lazy. I'm super lazy sometimes, months and months until I feel like doing it. But in general, I'm just curious. I'm just curious what I can do, what I can be, who who is like Gulrukhbegim Tokhirjonova in general, who is she, and how far I can go, not only as a chess player, but how far I can go as a person. And I just love philosophy, I just love psychology, I just want to learn more about people in general. I just want to have this interaction, I just want to have this fulfillment connection, you know. And I think some of those things come from chess, maybe most part of it. But besides this selfish dreams and stuff, I'm just a curious girl. And also I hope that my achievements shows and helps younger girls, younger generation to be better. And I hope in the future I can help them in some ways to become someone that they love.
And while you continue your career, being curious and learning more and getting better, I can see, so in the future you definitely have thoughts to become an educator, right? To continue sharing your passion, right? Potentially, maybe.
Maybe, but it's far away.
It's
Maybe
far away.
I'm gonna I'm not gonna share my like knowledge in as like an educator. Maybe I'm gonna share it in a different way. Maybe I will create awareness, maybe I will create a foundation, I will do something. But definitely in the future, when I felt like when I feel like, oh, okay, maybe I'm enough
Mhm.
to say something, maybe I have achieved enough, maybe I can help in some ways more to girls, definitely I'm gonna do that. For now, I need to grow more. Definitely.
Well, I love how positive you are about everything, and I think this curiosity and positivity that you have has certainly, been a great strength for you. And I wish you good luck in everything that you do in
Thank
your
you,
chess
Sabina.
career. And I hope Uzbekistan knows how wonderful you are, and
Thank you.
you do great things, and certainly will be missing you. But I'll look forward to continue watching your career, and I hope our viewers will do so too. Um, it was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, Sabina.
Great talk. And everyone, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Follow US Chess on all our social media accounts, and subscribe so that you can see more of these videos. And yeah, thank you so much, Begim.
Thank you so much, Sabina, and good luck with your podcast. You're doing great.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.